What up?
Oh no.
All right, wait. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the final episode of the Campfire Podcast. Hey, that was lit. That was cold. We didn't even plan that. We just, we're twinning.
We're just like this.
Twinning up here, bro. I'm telling you.
Episode 23.
Yep.
The finale.
Oh my goodness, man. 23 weeks straight. We haven't missed a week. We really haven't missed a week. Honestly, it's been fun. Y'all are probably wondering, finale, because does that mean it's ending? No.
We'll get to it.
But just know that season 2 is coming soon. There will be another season, confirmed by us.
Yeah, but if you've been listening for these past 23 episodes,
we sincerely thank you. Honestly, thank you. So if you've listened to either every single week, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And if you only listened to the first episode and left, and just came back for this one, we still thank you.
Exactly. If you listen to all 23, only one. If you're that one person who only listen to one, you have 20 more episodes to like.
Exactly. If you're a new listener from this one to the finale, we got 22 other episodes of just amazing, great times. I know the latter, most of them aren't on YouTube, but
get the audio.
You can get the audio on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that, Anchor. But again, we just want to say thank you to everyone who's listened and gave us feedback and just was with us throughout the journey.
The podcast helped me a lot, and hopefully help you too.
Yeah.
Hopefully we,
helped us.
We're fun, but still also enlightening to your life and for whatever we talked about.
Yeah.
My popcorn is the best because it is. To why, I don't know.
To why the earth is not flat.
Exactly.
For all topics from ages 2 to 80.
You got 2 years listening to us? Oh.
Okay. No, we don't.
You never know. You never know.
But to show appreciation for you all, we know some of y'all had topics that you wanted to have us discuss, but didn't really get a chance to hear. So throughout this week, we gave y'all the opportunity to send us questions, statements, whatever you wanted to say, and we would respond to that. So I got my friend, to take all the responses, put them in the doc. So I have no idea I haven't looked at any of these questions, so I don't even know what they are.
I've looked at some, but I didn't comprehend them. So
yeah,
for me, it's I didn't even look at them.
And they're all anonymous. So if you put something crazy in here, no one gonna know. I'm not gonna know who it is. So
thank you for submitting your questions. At first, I was like, man, if we only get one, that's still pretty good. We got 15.
Yeah.
So thank you.
You
want to get into the question now?
Let's get it.
All right. Numero uno. What are your opinions on simps and donating mad money to female streamers in the hopes of dating them or something? Or getting mad at the streamer who
has a significant other.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, that person who sent that.
I think I have an idea of who sent it because he talked about it to me before. And I've said this before, but my opinion on simps is that people use it in the wrong way. People would be like, oh, if you're nice to a woman in hopes of not her being nice back, but just in hopes of, getting a date or something, you're a simp. I mean, not necessarily. You could just be respectful and just be a nice person. But in this case, donating a lot of money to female streamers in the hopes of dating them, that's basically prostitution, which is messed up.
It's they're confusing the reality of the situation. They could say a female streamer that they're watching is really nice and supportive and positive, and they might feel really impacted by what they're saying, and they feel specifically they're talking to them, so that in their mind they're establishing a connection, oh, she's more than just someone I watch, she's a friend, and they just keep going around with that. When in reality, she's just a person who you're part of her audience, but there's not a disconnect, but there's some space between you. You're not close friends. You don't know them personally.
So I learned this on TikTok by the creator Joe Bartolozzi. But it's called parasocial relationships, right? Yeah. Did you see the TikTok when he made the 3-part? He's talking about parasocial relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember that one.
Influencers, streamers, rappers, celebrities, all that when they tell their fans like, oh, we love you, like we thank you and all that, that sometimes, you know, the fan would believe like, oh,
they really love
me, like they are a part of my life, like we're basically friends, things like that. Whereas that's not necessarily the case. They don't know who you are. I shouldn't even say probably. They don't know who you are, right? If you have someone that has 1.9 million followers or 14,000 Twitch streamers, right? They're not going to know each and every single one of those 14,000 or those 1.9 million or whatever, right? So in that case, do they love you and appreciate the actions that you do for them? Yes, because at the end of the day, you don't have to do that for them. Like, you don't have to donate money to them. You don't have to watch them. You don't have to even interact with them. But the fact that you do, they thank you and appreciate that. So in that sense, they love you in that way. But at the same time, they don't love you like a family member or like a significant other. So if you're donating in the hopes of that, then you're not donating for the right reason. If that, like, you should be donating to be like, oh, I like her. I wonder, so like, I not like her, but I like her content. Like, I find her entertaining. So like, I'm gonna pay for that entertainment, if that makes sense.
You're gonna support.
Exactly. I'm gonna support that entertainment so that she can keep going. Because you know that if she doesn't get paid for it, she probably can't keep going. So then, you know, give and take.
Yeah, basically. And then the part about them getting mad that the streamer has a significant other, that's none of your business, though.
Exactly. Like, that's not your life.
That's not your life.
You could be jealous. That's it.
I'm like, dang, but like, reality's gonna kick in. Like, I don't even know this person.
Exactly.
Like, it's gonna set in like what's really going on. You didn't get mad about person in your screen. You know.
Not only that, but at the same time, that's just weird. Because you don't know them.
Yeah, you don't know them.
Like, I understand being jealous. You could, like, okay, I'm jealous of Tom Holland being able to be in the same presence as Zendaya. If I could meet Zendaya, I'd be happy
You're not
as
gonna
hell.
go like assassinate Tom Holland, just take his
exactly.
place.
Like, I'm not gonna be like, I hate Tom Holland because he's always like, no. I'm gonna be like, oh, I wish I was him so I could be near Zendaya. But at the end of the day, it don't matter. Like, it is what it is. I'm not gonna do anything to him or try and like be mad at him because of that. If he's a cool guy, you know, all that shit. So I don't really get. You shouldn't really be upset if the streamer has a significant other, because that's not your life or your decision. But that is simping. I'm not gonna lie.
It is.
Donating money to a Twitch streamer is not simping, but in this situation, yeah, simping. Anyway, next one. A girl is throwing hints at you. What you doing? Proceed or deny?
I say proceed. Why not? I mean, like, if this is like the basic, just like question, just like she's throwing hints at you, then that's it. There's no other like. There's no reason for you not to.
I'm denying.
You're denying?
Yeah.
Why?
I've had this conversation before. So I am oblivious. Like, I'm very dense. As in, there have been situations where I would be like, oh, she's throwing hints. Like, I think she's throwing hints. So I'm gonna shoot my shot. And then in those situations, she's like,
okay.
I'm just being friendly, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. We can still be friends. I'm not really like that upset or anything like that. So it depends on how clear those hints are, and even if they are clear cut, you could be joking for all I care.
All right, for me,
I'm denying. I'm denying everything until I shoot my shot or until you do. If you shoot your shot, I'll be happy.
Ideally for myself, I'm still working on this. Like, if someone's throwing hints at me, I want to be able to identify how the person like is around other like guys, to see like how she be acting around them. But at the same time, she could be acting that towards you because she likes you, right? But on the other hand, she could just be really friendly, right?
Or really flirty in general.
So what you have to do is either like, okay, I can either just take the shot and just take this L, or maybe get a W. And either way, you win. Because if you take the L, then it's like, okay, I know what to do for next time. And you just keep doing that. So ideally for myself, I would just proceed. Except if it was like a situation where like it's just not appropriate. But then I just want to do it. But this situation, ideally I would want to proceed because for me, there's no reason not to.
Which is fair, but I'm always the one for like direct. As in, if you come straight out the gate confident and was just like, yo, what's up? I think you cute. You want to hang out? I'd be like,
I mean, yeah,
sure. But like, thank you.
For this situation, it's just like she's
that's
just
the
hits
thing.
on you. She's
throwing hits. Nah, that ain't a bit of me. One, because I'm also one of like of fairness. As in, me personally, I don't flirt. Even if I like you, I don't flirt because I don't want like I don't even know how to describe it, but it's sort of the thing of, you know how girls will always, you know, tell their friends everything. So you trying to flirt with her and you thinking you're doing a good thing, but the next thing you know, you end up as that goofy that ends up in the group chat because she's there thinking like, oh, look at him trying to flirt with me when I don't really like him. I don't want that. That's the first thing. 2, I don't want to seem creepy. Like, that's the thing. Flirting for guys can really work and really help your game, but it can, on the flip side, it could also look really bad, right? Really bad. And I don't want to take that risk. I'm not a betting man. That's not me. So instead, I would rather be direct and respectful and be like, hey, after getting to know you, and I'd also always shoot my shot in person. Can't do it over text. Nope. Unless you do it first. Like, that's just a clear cut. Because in person, it's easier for me to be like, hey, I think you're cute. I was wondering if you want to hang out, go get it. Go to a restaurant, go to the movies, or just chill at the park together, something like that. And then you saying, oh no, I'm sorry. And then I'll be like, okay, I respect that. Like, that's easier to handle in person than online, where you could easily leave scene, delete it,
it's kind of like
screenshot, all that. And I'm like, bro,
it might be kind of awkward in real life. That happened to me. It was kind of just weird. I was like, okay, we haven't established like the in-person vibe.
And that's another reason why I would always do it in person, because I have to feel the vibe in person, and then that would lead me to then shoot my shot in person. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but I've definitely been like, okay, is she just being really, really friendly, or the other way? And it's such a like unclear line.
Yep.
Like, it's just like this. I'm just like, okay, I'm going to assume that you don't, but at the same time, what if?
Yeah, exactly. I hate assuming. I hate it. I hate assuming. I hate people assuming things about me. So I don't do it. As in, if I don't flirt, I don't expect you to flirt.
I understand now why it's kind of like that. Because, like, if every girl was just really direct, then, like, it will be, like, zero work for us. So then, the more creepy types of dudes.
Yeah.
That's why. That's why it's like that. Because if like, a girl was just really direct with just, like, this random guy, she literally doesn't know. She doesn't really know, like,
his intentions or
so she could be getting with like a really weird guy, and then the stalking types, the ones that be like knocking on your door, following you back home. That's type.
Very toxic and all that thing.
Yeah.
But that's another reason why I don't really, even if I find you good looking, I probably wouldn't shoot my shot until we have had multiple times to hang out in person, and I get a vibe for who you are.
That makes sense. Like you.
Yeah.
Like, you would like the friends of a friend. Like, if a friend, like, was like, okay, hey, you should, like, talk to this person.
Yeah, like that. Like, that's cool with me.
Because when you have, like, not the consent, but, like, the approval of someone else.
Yeah, you have
like
the approval. Yes, it's like a job.
Yeah.
Someone's, like, giving you a recommendation.
Yeah.
So you have that. But then you also have the fact of, that you're both not there for just friendship. Like, there's no possibility of, like, there's a possibility of friendship, but it's like you're both there for the purpose of hopefully
being in a relationship.
Exactly. So then you can skip the whole
talking phase.
Not necessarily really talking, but you know what I mean. Like,
when you first meet them, and then it's like
the awkwardness of trying to figure out: are we gonna go the friend route of talking, or are we gonna go the more relationship route of talking? Like that, it's still going that route. And trying to figure out the whole question of what are we and that shit. So that is a nice one where you recommend a friend. But at the same time, those rarely work.
Why do you say that?
Well, I shouldn't say that. They really work in high school.
They rarely work in high school?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can even think of the amount of times you've heard people, oh, I recommended my friend for this person, my friend for that person. And just...
I don't think it works because we're not adults.
That's why.
A lot of people need to work on themselves.
They have no social, like, they have no social,
it just doesn't work.
They have social anxiety, basically. They can't speak.
Yeah. It's almost like what you said, it's like a job almost. But, like, we're not in that phase of thinking yet. That makes sense. Like, it's like
they can't talk to people.
It's like your boss is like, okay, I recommend you for, like, this person to talk to. But really, it's like your friend recommends you for this person to talk to. It's like the same thing.
No, but it's also like recommending music to somebody. Like, have you ever realized you recommend music to someone and they don't listen to it? Like, you can tell they haven't listened to it. Or you try to put them on to some amazing music and you can tell that they just not rocking with it. Right? And you're there like, bro, I'll put consideration into, you hopefully liking this. Stop. That's the same thing when you try to, tell your friend like, hey, this person thinks you cute, you should try talking to them. And they're like, okay, cool, I think they cute too. They talk once and then don't talk ever again. And they're like, what happened? They're like, well, we talked and then we stopped. And I'm like, I can't be the catalyst for y'all talking. Y'all gotta initiate that yourselves. It's the same type of vibe.
That music hit different.
Exactly.
I mean, that hurts too much. It hurts. On to the next one. Number 3, is it easier for girls to get guys or guys to get girls?
Girls to get guys.
Yeah.
That is real simple. You could have so many. You could have any arguments, and I'm telling you, right now,
it's the first one.
It is easier for a girl to get a guy than a guy to get a girl. However, I will say it's harder for like a girl to walk up to a group of guys than it is for a guy to walk up to a group of girls.
Yeah, but I will say, if that girl does walk up to the group of guys, she's already set. She's already
It depends. Set. It depends on how she, like, if she's going for one person in the group of guys and is able to isolate that one person from the rest of the guys, she's different breed of just confidence and swag.
Yeah,
it's a different breed of confidence.
You're already set. Like, you're done. You're done.
If she's able to walk up to a group of guys, isolate the one that she wants.
Not even that. If she asks for the number first, then you're set.
Oh, bruh.
You're set.
Bruh.
You're set.
All the way.
Listen, if you already got a girl, you're still set. You're still set.
Honestly, that's and that's why girls don't do it, right? That's why.
I mean, it's usually like just the fear of it. But once you get, I'm still working on that too. But it's really just what you think will, like, the feeling that will happen to you if you do this scary thing will, like, not kill you, but it'll be like embarrassing enough to be like, man, why did I even do that?
And that's why I don't flirt.
I would say, like, just the fact that you even tried that and you're pushing yourself, you should like have some pride in that. You really tried. Like,
so which one do you think is harder?
What?
Flirting or being upfront and just shooting a shot?
Being upfront. Flirting is more like, I'm not. It's like you're inadvertently putting it out there that you're interested in this person. Like, it's implicit. Yeah. Being upfront and direct is literally just being direct. You're just saying what you want, and like, a lot of people aren't really direct. Like, I know for me, I wasn't really direct. I'm still trying to, like, get there, but it's kind of hard because it's always you want people to like you, basically. So you don't want to do something to make the other person not like you. But I would say against that is you should do what's in favor for yourself to the extent that it's still, like, kind of, you're not being like
you're not changing who you are in order to please them.
Yeah, you're not people pleasing, but you're still, like, keeping who you are. So if you have, like, intentions with that person and you like them and you think they like you too, I would just say go for it. And if they don't like you, then just be like, that's cool. And it'll probably hurt, but then you'll find, like, someone else and they might like you and then it'll work out.
Exactly. You just gotta, like you said, be yourself and have that confidence to be like, hey,
but that's like the thing. You have to have confidence in yourself to, like, that you'll be all right afterwards, or that you'll be all right regardless, that you'll be fine.
But see, and that's why I don't like flirting, because like as you said, it's implicit, and there are so many risks that come to implicit with flirting.
Some people just flirt by nature.
That's
I don't even know
true.
what that word means no more.
Honestly, that's a good point.
What is your definition of flirting?
It depends. Online flirting or in-person flirting?
Let's say in person.
In-person flirting, a lot more physical.
Yeah.
If a girl's always like, oh my goodness, stop, you're so all that, trying to fight you and everything, like, I'm a fight, being all close and
bro, that's
flirting.
I'm sorry.
Straight flirting.
Bullying, yes, flirting is the weirdest shit ever.
But it's so common. So basically, right, I asked this question on my Instagram, and I asked, if you're mean to someone, does that mean you like them? So, and one option was like, yes, it does. And the other one's like, no, they just gross. And a lot of people picked no, they just gross. But when I was looking through the list, I saw some of the names that picked no, and I'm like, you're capping. I'm like, you're such cap. Like, you are lying out of your ass right now, but it's fine. I'm gonna allow it. Because based off of past experiences, I know that they would legit be ruthless to the person that they like.
It's so
like,
weird.
So ruthless.
If someone's mean to you, that means they like you. And if they're not mean to you, they don't like you.
Yes. Not everyone, but
you just got a
You can tell. If they're like, you want to fight? Let's fight. And they like 5'2", and they trying to fight you.
Yeah, that's happened so many times.
Like,
I'm just like, what?
Bruh.
That's so weird.
They can deny it too. They can deny it all they want, but they know deep down that they liked you at one point.
No, if they'd be like, yo, you want to fight or whatever? You want to fight? Just be like, hey, I know you like me.
Exactly.
So
they'd be like, no, you don't. Why you flattering yourself?
No, they're just going to walk away. They'd be like,
you're freaking me out. Damn it. Nah, but that's what I'm saying. In person is if they're very touchy. Not very touchy, but somewhat touchy. If, like you said, if you realize they're around other guys, they're not as close, but then they're hella close to you. Always wanted to talk to you, always wanted to be around you. That's easier to identify in-person flirting than texting flirting. Or like FaceTime.
I see why you don't like flirting anymore. It's kind of too much work.
It's so much work to distinguish. But like I said, flirting in person, you have people who are just that way by nature.
Yeah.
Like you would be like, oh wait, does she like me? And then be like, hey, I think you're kind of cool. You want to hang out? And then they'd be like, oh, I don't like you like that. And you're like, oh, fuck. Like,
at the end of the day, just shoot your shot.
Yeah. And girls, shoot your shots more.
Bro, I'm telling you, if you're a girl and you listen, if you shoot your shot, you're set. You're set. You're like, it's 90%. It's 90%.
You can say no, but as two guys, we are telling you.
90%. That's how, like, that's the likelihood that your shot's gonna go in. 90%.
Yes.
90%.
Even like he said, if he got a girl.
Do you realize?
Even if he got a girl.
There are people in the NBA shooting 50%, and that's rare. You shooting 90% without doing any work. That's crazy.
And like he said, he could have a girl. And most of the time, if you shoot your shot, he'd probably say yes. Not if that girl means a lot to him. If he's a man, then he won't. He'd be like, oh, I got a girlfriend. No, I got a girlfriend. He wouldn't. And also, if he says, sorry, I got a girlfriend, and you still pursue him, most likely he would cheat. That's how you know you don't trust the people that be like, oh, I'm sorry, I got a girlfriend, because you shouldn't be sorry. You should say, no, I got a girlfriend. Leave it there. But if he's single, and you shoot
90%. 90%.
100%. Anyway, next one.
Your private search history is being shown to your parents or Instagram followers. Who are you choosing? Why you ask this question?
I don't know who asked this.
I'll share my parents. My parents understand. My parents understand.
My parents would judge me for the rest of my life. They'd be like, "We birthed you." Disgusting. No. My dad would low-key be kind of proud. I'm not gonna lie. My dad would be like,
no, my dad would understand.
Yes, sir.
My mom would be like,
my mom would be disgusted. My mom would be so disgusted. But my dad would be like, okay.
No, here's how it go for me. All right, my dad will see it. He'll be like, hey, he's a young man. This is what they. No, I watch the same thing.
Yo, that was.
And my mom would be like, Christian. And he'll be like, listen, at our age, this is what we doing. And then that's how it would go. That's how it would go.
You're so
and at the end of the day, they'll still love me the same.
hopefully.
No, they would still. I'm not watching nothing crazy. Like no.
You ain't seen no weird nothing online. You definitely have seen some weird thing. It was like, what is this? Accidentally clicked on it. They seeing that too.
See, when that happens for me, I realize, you know what? Let me.
Exactly. You exit, but then you still clicked on it, so they'll still see it.
Well, for those stuff, I'll give like a detailed explanation of what exactly happened, so there's no assumptions.
I wouldn't. I would just own it. I'll be like, you know what? Yes, I looked at it. I would not want to explain anything.
Of course I looked at that. I know you want. You saw it too. You know what I showed me. I saw it on your laptop last night.
All the off-brand anime.
Stop.
All the off-brand anime. You know, both of our parents, both of them, they would be like, they wouldn't get that aspect of it. They wouldn't.
I'll put you on mom. It's like
I'm definitely not showing my Instagram followers.
Why are you watching this?
I'm not showing my Instagram followers, even though they'd probably be like, "Oh, Miles, you're tapped." But I would rather show my parents. If I show
Instagram followers, I'm like, man, I know you're not speaking to me right now. You're watching the same thing. Don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Just don't talk to me. Either way,
I'm not showing my Instagram followers because my Instagram. I got past teachers as Instagram followers. Yeah, nah. Nah. Yeah, nah, I'm good. Anyway,
this one.
What was it, number 5?
Yeah.
For $10 million, would you put your baby in the microwave for 3 seconds?
See, at first I was like, nah, of course not. But after a while, I was like, it's only 3 seconds. Okay. How hot, like, how...
No, I couldn't.
How old is the baby?
No, I couldn't.
Nah.
Because I'm thinking back to a video that I saw of this kid who put his cat in the microwave. And
radiation.
Huh?
The radiation.
There's no radiation in the microwave.
Oh, then.
That's a misconception. People think like, oh, microwaves give you cancer. No, they don't.
Oh, I never thought microwaves give me cancer.
Some people think that they're like, oh, you're gonna get cancer or something. You go in a microwave. I'm like, no, there's no radioactive waves coming from a microwave, bro. It's heat. It's actual microwaves. That's why it's called a microwave. But it wouldn't damage the kid, honestly. The sun outside is probably hotter than the 3 seconds that they would spend in there. But it's the actual process for me.
Yeah.
In which of putting my child in a box, closing it, and then putting on like 3 seconds start like food.
Like logically, this is very efficient.
Yes.
3 seconds for 10 mil? No question. But morally, like,
I couldn't. I really couldn't.
This is my kid.
Exactly.
I can't do that.
Bro, my child. Actually.
Miles. What?
Yo, 10 million.
No.
Do you know how much money 10 million is? 3 seconds. How much is 3 seconds? It's okay. 1,
3 seconds.
2, 3. And you get 10 million after that.
Still.
You get 10 million after you telling me.
Nah.
I don't know.
No.
I really don't know.
Again, logically, very efficient.
Logically, that's what I'm saying. If you look at logically, honestly, there is no bad to it. Like, the baby isn't going to get harmed. You getting 10 million. It's only 3 seconds of heat.
But
if anything, if the baby is cold, you're doing a service. So,
like, this might be slightly worse, but it's kind of like if you put your baby in the oven but on preheat.
That's worse.
Yeah,
so much worse. That is so much worse. That is so much.
Or would you put your baby in the dryer for like?
That's not as bad. The only thing is, you better hope they don't like. Doom. Because then that's brain damage.
Nah, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. 10 million. Nah, I
can't. They bring it in cash too. They said 10 million. Or not even in cash, but like,
say you spend that cash and it's like, you, like your friend's like, oh, you got like 10 million? How you get that? Oh, I put my baby in the microwave. like you got dirty money.
That's not dirty money.
To me, it's dirty.
Because the baby ain't harmed.
Still.
It's just my thing is the actual action of picking up an infant. My infant.
Exactly.
Oh, no. I couldn't.
No, exactly. You can't. But anyway, that was the first part. We're gonna keep doing the questions. We'll see how long we got to go.
See how long the podcast goes. This is final one.
Yeah.
Bye.
Break.
We're back.
Hey. All right, we're gonna jump right into this.
Yeah, because he read the next one. Yeah. Out loud.
What is the youngest age child you could beat up morally and physically?
This is easy. 10. Yeah. 10. I could beat up a 10-year-old. Easy.
Oh, you say, like physically beat up and like...
No, and morally I could beat up a 10-year-old.
I'm going to go a little lower. I'm going to say 7.
Oh, you're worse than me. Because
listen. Some 7-year-olds are demons.
That's my same point. I'm like, if I meet a demon like 10-year-old, I could mollywop him.
So like, for me to beat up a young 7-year-old child, they have to be a demon. So morally, I'm in the right, and physically, I'm also like physically strong.
I'm also thinking like once I get to a certain age, I think as I get older, the number gets higher.
Oh yeah,
like as I like
40 years old,
not 40, because 40 you're kind of weak by that point. If I'm prime Miles, like 25, 26, 27,
I'll say 30.
Prime or like 30, I'd probably change it to like 12.
Gotta get these.
12.
Gotta get those hits and on those beatings.
Exactly. No, because by 12 they're in middle school, and you are legally able to smack a middle schooler in the face. And by that standing, I could beat up a 12-year-old.
I'm gonna stick with 7.
Like I'm telling you right now, I'm already thinking at the pool.
See, for morally, if we're going on a scale, I could go all the way down to 3. Cause I was telling you, like morally, but physically, I wouldn't actually, you know.
Oh my goodness!
But like, I wouldn't.
Bro, your morals, because even morally, I can't go down to like 5. I can't. I really can't. They're too small. Unless
let me explain.
I could boot them. Like,
all right, I'll say 8. 8 is for me. My minimum, like no, like the cap off that.
Dude.
Yeah, it's gotta be 3. It's gotta be 3. That's so bad.
That's so bad. I'm thinking of a 3. A 3-year-old can't walk, dude. No, can they?
Nah, I wouldn't be. I'll say 5. I wouldn't morally beat up anyone 5 or under.
I mean, I know my mom almost wanted to kill me when I was 2. But
that's like
I was a bad kid.
She wanted to. She didn't actually do that. Like I wouldn't. I don't know. This kid gotta be like Satan like reincarnated for me to like.
I mean, a lot of kids are little cretins.
Yeah, but still, like,
especially when you bring your kid to the pool and you want the lifeguard to watch him. Just know, a lot of us want so. I shouldn't really say this, but sometimes the lifeguard, especially if they're like in the baby pool and they start quote unquote drowning, we don't save them right away. Wait like 5 seconds. Let them learn their lesson after we told them multiple times not to go to the deep end. But the little idiots don't want to listen, so they decide, I'm big enough to go to the deep end, start drowning, like, help me. And we're like, what we tell you? So you know what? We're going to let you punish a little bit for 5 seconds, and then we're going to save you, right? In that case, bro, morally, I could go down to like 7. But that's morally. Physically, I could never beat up a 7-year-old. But 10, it's raps. It's raps. I don't care how you plead your case. I will curb stomp a 10-year-old. A quote by Miles. Because if that little 10-year-old a demon, if that little 10-year-old a demon, best believe it's head.
Alright. Next one. Since you asked us, I was wondering about you. How do you tell someone you like them?
Oh, that's because I asked that on my story. I got a mixed response.
So, seems like they directed this at you, so.
How do I show or tell someone I like them? Most of the time I tell them. Like in person, I already said this, but most of the time I just be like, hey, I think you're cute. I like you. Your vibes, immaculate. You want to go to the movies or something. I wouldn't say it like that. I'd say it much more respectfully, but I just say it to them. Showing is a bit harder. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I've become a bit of a simp. But like a mean simp. As in, if she would have asked me to do something, I would do it. Like, no questions asked. Like, oh, Miles, can you get this for me? Oh yeah, I got you.
Well, that might be because you're just a nice person.
Maybe, but it's especially like if I like them.
Like, here's the thing for me. Like, there's a line. You can't be like a pushover, basically. But
which is what I mean by like a mean. Which is what I mean by a mean simp. As in, like, I would joke around and insult, but as a joke.
So basically, right? This kind of based off what actually happened. So basically, right? Say you got like a box of like glazed munchkins, right?
Yes.
Delicious glazed munchkins. Mm-hmm. And you got to the second to last glazed munchkin. Mm-hmm. And you're like, hey, I already ate like 10 of these. I want like the 2 more. Someone comes along, a girl you like. She's like, hey, can I have a munchkin? And then you have to think about, like, do I actually want to give her this munchkin right now? Like, do I actually want to give her this?
In that situation, like, if I like her, I'd be like, oh yeah, have one, but give me the other one. That's what I mean by like.
But like,
I mean,
as a nice, as a respectable,
one.
Nice person, just be like, you know what? I already ate 10 of these. I'm not gonna be chubby fat. Take one. But if she asks for 2, then that's a limit. That's
what I'm saying. Don't mess with my food.
Yeah, you can have like a little bit.
Don't mess with my food.
But don't ask for the whole plate. Don't ask for I'm just not gonna give you the whole plate.
That's another thing. That's another way I tell someone I like or show someone I like them. If they ask for my food, most of the time I'd be like, not even food. If they ask for my candy, most of the time I'd be like, no. This is my Skittles. You're not getting any. But if I like you, I'd be like, here. I'm like, here. That's what I mean by like a mean simp. As in, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I wouldn't just follow every single command. Like, if they're like, oh, Miles, can you do my homework? I'd be like, no. Why would I want to do extra work? I would never do that.
Someone asked me to do the essay, and I could tell they're trying to like put on the charm. And
I'm like, no. Like, that's the thing I would never understand. I don't care how much you could pay me $100. I'm not doing your homework for you. I'm not doing it.
I've seen that happen, and it's happened to me like a couple times. Like, a girl will come up to you, and you can tell she's like trying to be extra cute or whatever.
I'm like, no.
But I just like.
That's the thing. Like, I'll help you with your homework. If you need help, I'll help you. I'm not.
Like, if I see what you're doing, I'm just gonna be like, no. I see what you're doing. It's not gonna work.
You could look like Chloe or Halle, and I would. And if they ask me, yo, Miles, can you do my homework? I would probably still say, what? No. Why would no? I'm not, like, cause I'm lazy. Why would I want to do extra work?
Yeah, just no.
Nah.
Oh, but for me, how I would show someone, I would show them by just like talking to them, just showing interest in them, basically. Mm-hmm. Might be like a little physical, like playfully touch them, kind of like that.
Nope. I stay away. I actually, if I like you, I'll probably touch you less. That sounds weird.
I'm not gonna like touch you a lot. I'm just saying like a little bit, just. A little bit.
See, I stay far away only because the scariest thing, I don't want to seem like a creep. I never want to seem like a creep ever. Even in a friend way, I don't want to seem creepy.
Here's what I hate every time. It's like when there's a girl walking ahead of me and I'm behind her and I keep walking in the same direction she's walking. And
I'm like, shit. Now she thinks I'm following
her.
Turn.
Just turn.
Or like she's short, right? And like, you know how humans naturally look down because of our phones, right? So you're looking down and then she looks back and then like starts walking fast and you're like, oh, I think she thought I was looking at her when I really wasn't. I was looking at the floor.
I hate that so much. I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to follow you.
I'm really not.
But you gotta walk like either slower or faster so I can get like at this, because I walk pretty fast, so like if I look like I'm walking real fast at her, I'm just like, okay, she might think she's trying to.
Why do I imagine, right? Just Christian walking.
I don't want her thinking like I'm trying to like run up on her, but also at the same time, I don't want to walk too slow or keep like the same speed as her to make even. It's just and
I don't even blame girls for that fear of mine. I blame guys.
Yeah,
it's because of other guys that I am there. Like, I don't want to seem like every other. Like, I don't want to seem like that.
Like, we just happen to walk the same way.
Yeah, I don't want to seem creepy.
It sucks even more when she turns the exact same corner now to walk to. And no. If we're walking like down the street, I'm like, damn. But if we turn the same corner, I'm like, shit. If we turn the second corner, I'm like, oh, god damn it.
Where are we going? Are we heading the same place?
Then when she looks back, she sees me, she walks a little faster, I'm like, god damn it.
Now she thinks I'm a creep. Great, awesome, amazing.
But Yeah, I would just show interest in the person. Tell someone you like them. Just tell them you like them.
Yeah.
Ideally, that's what I'm trying to get to.
I mean, I would also say, like, I don't think I would ever say I like you. I'd say I fuck with your vibe and you cute, but I don't think I would actually say, like, oh, I like you. I first want to go on a few dates and then be like, yeah, I like you. So,
understandable.
Yeah, but showing easily, just if I listen to, like, if I want to help and actually listen to, like, demands or commands and things like that, then, or if I give you my food, I like you. And if I don't want to, like, let's say she's playful and I don't, like, push her back or anything, I probably like you.
Yeah, actually, a lot of people say, like, oh, let me, like, not annoy me, but, like, I don't get annoyed easily. But I realize, like, I think, like, other people think they're annoying me, when in reality, I think this is just how you are. If that makes sense. Like, for instance, say like there are like certain, like, girlfriends of ours, right?
Mm-hmm.
That might be, like, bullying you or whatever.
Yeah.
Or, like, they, like, annoying you.
Yes.
But to us, they're not annoying us.
Yeah. Okay,
you see what I mean now?
Yes.
Like, they're trying to annoy you, but it just doesn't work.
Yes.
That's
like they're trying to push your buttons, and then you're there, like.
But it just doesn't work.
Sort of. One of my friends actually gets annoyed by that. She'd be like, Miles, you don't get angry enough. And I'm like, oh, what do you mean? She'd be like, I would try and annoy you or say something out of pocket. You just have no reaction. And I'm like, because most of the time I don't care. She's like, that annoys me. I'm like, so it's working for me.
Actually, well, yeah, that's happened to me too. But I don't, like, at that point, I'm like, hey, go annoy some other person that gets angry. And then you be like, oh, I don't like that. They just come right back.
Yeah, you know why? Because they like you. They want to annoy you, see? I'm telling you, a lot of the time, if she or he is mean to you, they probably like you.
It's backwards, but that's how
it's backwards. They can deny it all they want. Most of the time, it works. Anyway, next one. Top 3 new gen anime. Top 3 new gen? New gen. Oh, God. I'm trying to think of all the new ones. I mean, if you look at numbers, My Hero and Demon Slayer have to be up there.
I'll say for me personally,
Black Clover,
this is just my top.
But 3. That's not my top 3 at all.
For me, it's actually my top 3. I haven't watched any. Well, I only watched one of them, but I know for both of them, one is really popular. The other one's I've watched is popular and really good, and then the other one is the same thing. So for me, number 1 is Jujutsu Kaisen, because I'm not even gonna explain it. It's just fire.
It's amazing.
And I've watched it. It's popular and everything.
Amazing story.
Number 2 for me is Black Clover. I haven't watched it.
But
again,
story.
It's fire. It's just fire. And then number 3 is Demon Slayer. But Demon Slayer is different for me because I don't think it's necessarily a really, like, revolutionary anime, but I think it's just really, like, good at what it does. It has really good animation.
That's the main thing. I'm like, Demon Slayer
it's high quality for, like, the tier it's in.
Yeah, it's high quality art. People love the art style and the animation.
And the story is decent enough that it could
string along well.
Yeah, but the animation, I don't want to say it carries it, but it damn near carries it. Like, I feel like I haven't watched it again, but I feel like the story is, like, either kind of mid or kind of, like, it has moments of being really good, but just, like, kind of generic, basically.
Yeah. Like, another, like, my problem with Demon Slayer, not even problem, but just one thing is, like, Zenitsu, for example. A lot of people like Zenitsu. I found him very annoying at first. Like, very annoying. Then I was able to tolerate him by the end of the series, but at first, bruh, he was so annoying. Always screaming, always afraid. I'm like, come on.
Oh, I saw some honorable mentions. Is Mob Psycho kind of new gen?
Yeah, no, yeah.
I don't know. I'll say Mob Psycho.
That's still asking if, like, One Punch Man counts as new gen.
I'll see why not. Well, what is considered new gen? How about we just say, like, for us, just for let's say like 20.
It came out in the past 3 years.
Oh. Well, then Myro. Then Myro doesn't count. That came out in 2016.
Yes, it does.
It does?
No, it doesn't. Like I'm saying, I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, let's say for us, it's like 2015 on 2014 on.
I'm trying to consider from where the point anime got popular, because even when My Hero came out, anime was not even that popular.
I mean,
that's why I'm saying 3 years ago, because that's when Demon Slayer came out. That's when everyone was like, especially Twitter. That's when anime really started, and then TikTok came around that time too.
I would say, like, at least from what I've seen, it's gone pretty like mainstream and popular.
Mm-hmm.
I would say like when My Hero came out.
I'd say after that, because My Hero came out 5 years ago,
or maybe like
2016.
Because anime's always been popular. It just hasn't been like. It hasn't been like you could walk down the street and someone will be wearing like a Naruto t-shirt, basically.
But it wasn't as mainstream. Like you said, Naruto was one of the big three: One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, and Dragon Ball Z. Those were the biggest, but people didn't really understand what they were. People just thought the designs were cool.
Yeah, people liked it, but it wasn't like. It was kind of frowned upon. You might get made fun of at school if you watch like. Yeah, basically.
If you even talk to watch about anime, people would be like,
then maybe
what?
When was really?
That's why I'm saying in the past 3 years, because that's when TikTok, Twitter, Demon Slayer all came out, and Demon Slayer is really what got people into Demon Slayer and Attack. That's also when Attack on Titan came back.
Attack on Titan.
Like, see, I think that was when season.
Oh yeah, I remember when Attack on Titan came out the first season, and it just kind of disappeared off the face of the earth.
But then it came back. So Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer all is what brought more people into anime. And like I said, also I'm putting a lot on TikTok, because TikTok really helped.
TikTok is really good. That might be my favorite like social media platform now.
Yeah. For me, I'll say top three. My top three favorite new gen. Number one, that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Goated. Just that's amazing. Number two, Tokyo Revengers, another amazing one. Even though I do not like the main character that much, he might grow on me, but as of right now, I don't like the main character. Number three, probably Black Clover. Yeah, Black Clover. Black Clover is such a solid anime. It's so solid. Or Jujutsu Kaisen, but I needed to see another season of Jujutsu Kaisen before I rank it up a little bit more. But Black Clover has been non-stop, constant banger. So.
Oh yeah, Vinland Saga. I haven't watched it, but
that is amazing. That is actually an amazing anime. Vinland Saga. Can't wait for season 2.
Yeah, I need to watch all these. I've been watching just One Piece. Since like
you don't need to watch that. Focus on One Piece.
I'm almost done. Got like 70 more episodes.
Hey.
Alright, next one. Why the campfire? Okay.
I don't know who said this.
Why the campfire?
You ain't listened to one of our podcasts.
The title, The Campfire, mad complicated. Okay. We call it the campfire because the campfire stands for, at least camp, it stands for Christian and Miles podcast.
Because it was originally going to be the camp. But then at least I found a podcast that was already named The Camp, and I did not want to run into any like copyright, or I just didn't want to share names.
Yeah, so that's what we called it, The Campfire podcast.
Yep. So then we were gonna have a spell camp, like the actual way camp is spelled. But then, like I said, I found another podcast that was already spelled Campfire. So I was like, I don't want to deal with that. Like, I know if this were to actually, pop off and have mad numbers and things like that, then it'd come around to bite us. So I was like, I'm gonna avoid that because you never know what happens. And then that's where we came up with the Christian and Miles podcast, and then I added fire to it, and he got the Campfire podcast.
So the full name is the Christian and Miles podcast. Fire podcast. I like that.
Yeah. There you go.
That's your answer.
It's still complicated, but
just say the Campfire. Just the Campfire. Or the Campfire podcast. It's not.
Or is it be like, yo, you know the podcast with Christian and Miles? Yeah.
Anyway, you can say number 10.
What is y'all opinion on what is happening in Afghanistan? Do you know what's happening in Afghanistan?
The U.S. troops are pulling out, and then the Taliban, that is taking over the Afghanistan government. So it's kind of Afghanistan is kind of like
splitting. You're trying to get a bunch of the refugees to leave.
I don't know. It's not deconstructing, but it's kind of like imploding on itself. If it was a building, it's like, yeah. If Afghanistan was a building, it's imploding on itself. Like all the work that the UN put in is not working no more.
But then they're also trying to leave the country. Like you said, the Taliban is taking over. So.
Like I saw a video and they were like Afghanistan people on the plane, like literally on the plane. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, that's...
But then you also have America who, since they're pulling the troops out, they're trying to bring, some of the Afghanistani people from out the country.
Yeah.
Because it's not their fault that they live there.
And I don't know the entire history of our deployment in Afghanistan, but I would think that the U.S. wasn't entirely beneficial to the state of the country.
I mean, do you think it was a good idea for us to pull out our troops, like right now already?
I don't even know. I don't know like the exact situation, like the state of like being, how it is to live in Afghanistan. But given like the pandemic and probably some like inner like domestic issues in Afghanistan, it probably wasn't a good time. But at the same time, I don't really like, just in history in general, how the US kind of just like tries to not conquer lands, but they'll just be there basically. Like,
well, I mean, we'll just insert our part into people's problems that aren't really ours.
Yeah, but at the same time, well, it doesn't make sense, but it's part of like us being like a superpower in the world, and we can't really be kind of isolationist basically. Yeah, that's what happened in World War II. Like, we were isolationists. We weren't like assisting Europe during World War II, but like without our help, it may not have like turned out how it would have before.
Exactly.
So then we kind of came to how we are now. In the Cold War, we would do these like I forgot exactly what they called.
Bomb testing.
That too, but it was like proxy wars basically. Like, we will deploy or help or assist countries that will be a part of the democracy, and they'll be fighting other countries who were communists that Russia was supporting. We would do that basically. And then that's kind of how the Vietnam War started. Like, we had no business being in Vietnam, but Korean War, same thing, and probably similar thing in
but I think the one in Afghanistan was based on the war on terror ever since 9/11.
Oh yeah.
That was always ever since 9/11 and Osama bin Laden. But then little do people know is that America created Osama bin Laden. So that's
yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm not saying the U.S. is like the savior in this situation. Like, we've had some negative impacts.
But at the same time, I don't necessarily agree with the fact that they are pulling the troops out. But I also don't agree with how everyone is blaming President Biden like it's his fault.
I mean, at this point,
if anything, if you looked at what happened, Trump is the one that started it. Like, Trump was the one that said like we're pulling the troops out of Afghanistan, and then Joe Biden just saw it through. Like, it was already in motion by the time Joe Biden came into office. So
yeah, but I don't have much to say on this because I don't even really know what we were doing in Afghanistan. Like, I don't know exactly what we were doing.
I don't know why we were there for that long either, but
maybe like hunting down terrorist groups or like trying to bring down like terrorist groups.
But at the same time, I don't know how.
But I don't know exactly like what we were doing there for the past 2 decades.
There's a lot of questions as to how and why that would benefit us if we were to, like, let's say we were actually there to, like you said, stop the terrorist group and to try and bring order to the Afghanistanian country. What would that bring us, and why would we do it? As in, because that's how,
for like goodwill.
But that's America never does anything for goodwill.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So that's why I'm like, because we're not just doing it like out of the kindness of our hearts. Afghanistan is struggling, so we're just gonna go there and help them. There's definitely a reason as to why we want to be there.
Yeah, at that point, that's a UN problem. But at the same time, we're a big influence in the UN because we're one of the biggest countries and influential countries in the world. So, like, if you say it's a UN problem, indirectly or really directly, it's a US problem. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I think there should be more involvement from other countries too. Because at this point, it seems like not a world crisis, but this country is in the crisis.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically in a dictatorship, but by a terrorist group.
But I'm gonna say my opinion with a grain of salt because I don't know exactly what's going on. So,
we need to do more research.
Yeah, that's just like from what I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's our opinions. We don't necessarily agree with it, but we know that there's something needs to be done to help the people that are suffering in the country.
Yeah. All Afghanistan people, you're my prayers. Good luck.
Prayers. We pray for y'all. Number 11. That's a complete switch, friend. This is all over the place.
Number 11. How did we get our names? I'll go first.
Oh, like our personal names?
It's our names. So yeah. There we go. My first name, my mom got it out of a baby book and she liked it. Christian means a follower of God. She liked that. So my name is Christian. My middle name is just one letter off from hers. Her middle name is Amira. My middle name is Amir. I looked this up. I actually kind of like this now. Amir in like, what was it, Arabic or something like that? It means like a commander in chief. Well, like a leader basically. I like that. My last name is my last name. That's it.
Me, I don't really know how I got my first name. I know I was gonna be called Joaquin, but then because of Caribbean accents, they would call me Waki. Yeah, they'd be like Waki. I don't have a good accent, but they would butcher my name basically. So my mom was like, no, and then they went to Niles, and then they also were like, no, and then somehow find their way to Miles. So that's how they got that. Then my middle name was gonna be my dad's name, Anthony. But then that would give me the initials Mad, and in the Caribbean or just like Europe, Mad means like, crazy. Well, it can also mean crazy. Like Mad obviously means angry, but it could also mean crazy. So then they were like, oh, we're not doing that to him. So then I think they just came up with Devontae somewhere. I don't know where they got it from, but they just came up with Devontae, and then Daniel's my last name. So they'd have Miles, Devontae.
I almost was called Tristan or Elijah or Miles. That was up there too.
I cannot see you named Elijah. I can imagine Tristan because it sounds like Christian. But Elijah, you look nothing like an Elijah.
My mama was named me Miles too.
Hey, imagine both of us being named Miles. Anyway, next one.
Is the playlist done?
No.
We're gonna work on it right after this podcast. So.
Listen, we need to do the art, get the name for it, and work on it. So, but yeah, he said after we're done this podcast, we're
actually gonna put like the songs and everything.
Yep, and then we'll leak it on, not leak it, but we'll release it on our Instagrams and the official Campfire Podcast Instagram. So make sure you follow at the Campfire Podcast, fire with a 1.
Number 13. I don't got a question, but this podcast is cool. Not gonna lie. Thank you. I appreciate that.
We appreciate it. Whoever you said it, we appreciate it.
And the final one, thought it was 15. It's actually 14. So number 14. Wait, what time are we got? Good thing check. All right, so I guess it will be the last question in this section. So number 14, favorite podcast episode, and where do you see the podcast going?
That's 2 questions, so it is 15, but
we'll answer as much as we can in the time.
Yeah, we'll probably answer the first one, favorite podcast episode, and then in the next segment we'll finish it off with where do you see the podcast going. What is your favorite podcast episode?
It's a tie between the one with Jada and then the one with your coach.
Coach Greg?
Yeah. I don't know right now. I'm leaning towards.
See, I was thinking the same thing, but mine was also a tie between Cody, our parents, and Jada.
Also, the last podcast we did was pretty good too.
Yeah, that one was funny. That was a funny one though. The last podcast we did was hilarious. I listened to it back when editing the YouTube video. I was laughing the whole time.
Yeah,
the whole time I was laughing. And the one before that, where we did the 2 segments, was still funny.
That was good too.
But definitely 3 favorite. Oh, and I really like the music podcast we had.
Yeah, our 3rd episode. I like that one too. I don't know why, but
wasn't that the music one?
Nah, I think that was like our first relationship one.
Or that, yeah.
That one just I remember.
I specifically those 4 I remember like cleanly was our music podcast where we just talked about our favorite artists. The one with both of our parents, the Mother's Day special, the one with Jada, and then the one with Cody. Even though I'm so upset the audio messed up for that one because that was such a good podcast. Yeah. Anyway,
we can think more about that after the break.
Yeah.
Give a definite answer.
Definite
answer. Definite
Come
answer.
back after the break. Bye.
We back with our third and final part. So we had some deliberations, discussions about what our top podcast episodes are.
Top three.
To a final top three.
We came to a final one.
Yeah, we have.
And then
we have
the
our top.
next two are kind of tied.
Number one. So number three.
Well, I was just saying these next two are kind of tied because they're different. They're the runner-ups in terms of our favorites, but they were just different.
Yeah. So
his runner-up was episode 17.
Yeah, it
was Coach Greg talking about
national relationships.
International relationships.
I really like the podcast.
Yeah, that was a good one. And then my runner-up was the one with Cody, episode 13, which was about sports and mental health and the difference between boys and men.
Yeah, so go check those out because those are really good podcasts.
Yeah, so episode 17, episode 13, give them a listen because they were really good. But our favorite of all time,
number one,
top
tier.
Even though we've enjoyed this whole series and every guest and all the topics that we've talked about on each and every single podcast, this one was different and definitely gave us room for thought.
Episode 11.
The one with Jada.
Deep dive into misogyny,
racism in America, and misogyny in America.
With our guest Jada.
And honestly, she's also been an amazing supporter, following us on everything, listening to almost every single podcast every week, trying her best. And, we thank her. She was an amazing guest on podcast.
If you're listening, thank you. You're a great guest. Podcast was fire.
Number one.
Hope to have you back one other podcast someday. Yeah.
Season 2.
That was our final question in the Q&A.
Well, penultimate.
Well, this second question is going to go into what we're talking about now, which is, where do you see the podcast going?
I'm going to let you answer that one first, because this is difficult.
So, ladies and gentlemen, here is what we got. Again, this plan is not definite. It could change.
It could easily
It's just a vision of what we have the podcast going. In 2 days, we could change this whole plan. But basically, for the podcast, we're going to have a seasonal thing. So the length of this season right now, which started in March and it's ending right before September, is going to be the season. That's from spring to summer is like one season of the podcast. So there is going to be no more podcast episodes until next year, March, or around that time in spring.
Like basically. April, May, around then. There's not going to be any more like podcast.
The podcast itself might be a little different. We might not be in the same format. We're currently on Anchor, and we might not be using Anchor
by next year.
We could be doing a whole different format. We might not be doing
we could get a studio, maybe. We don't know what happens.
It could be 3-hour podcast. It could be 30-minute podcast. It could be no more Would You Rathers. It could be more Would You Rathers. It could be. We don't have an exact plan of how we're going to do podcasts for that.
Yeah, we don't have an exact plan for season 2 yet. But just know that there will be a season 2, and it, like you said, it'll be around the springtime start. So March. We'll come up with a final date.
Yeah, but now you might be asking, okay, so what do you got planned for the fall and the winter? Yeah, I'm glad you asked. So basically, as you know, we have a YouTube channel. So what we're going to do is at least for now, every Tuesday and Thursday, we're going to put out one video that day. And one from each of us.
Yeah, so that's the thing. They're going to be different videos. So because with us both going to different colleges, we wanted to try to get a way to build our audience, so we have more listeners, more feedback, a bit more interaction with the podcast. We also wanted a way to grow it, but
kind of branch out, but stick to what we are right now.
Exactly, and it would be difficult to match our schedules with both of us having work and being at...
Mainly because I literally don't know my schedule.
Yeah, and then both of us being at different colleges and everything. It'd be better if we both had our own content to bring a wide range of people to view it. So, and that's the whole point of the Campfire Podcast, is for everyone to join around the campfire and have a discussion about anything. So
I know, for me personally, the vision I have for my episodes, or the videos I'm going to post, are going to be kind of like little rants of me talking to I like to do a lot of artistic things, so maybe me talking and I'll have
drawing.
Yeah, or maybe, or I specifically I'll be talking about a rant that just kind of popped in my mind, kind of similar to how we make these episodes, right? I have an idea and we talk about it. I'm gonna have an idea and I'm gonna talk about it. have some like maybe animations going around, something like that.
And then since I'm a very active person, mine would be more based on like vlogging, kind of, but more of me trying just different sports, whether it's going to the gym because I don't really weightlift, trying out tennis, volleyball, just trying out different things. That's sort of what my episodes would kind of be about, more active action. So just so I can, stay in shape, but also vlog, and get used to having a camera.
Yeah,
things like that. So
a little bit of both. Also, I had an idea.
This isn't definite though, because these things could change.
Yeah, I literally just had an idea. Well, I had an idea before, but I didn't tell you about it.
Yeah.
So basically, what I had, what I think we could do is maybe like once every month on a Wednesday or whatever day, we could come together and have like a little podcast, like a little mini podcast.
Well, I mean, we're definitely gonna be back around Thanksgiving time, so we can meet up then
also,
and have a vlog of the Thanksgiving game.
Holiday specials.
We're gonna have holiday specials.
We're
gonna be here. Yeah,
I have to have Christmas one.
So expect those, like big events like Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's probably.
Bro, that Christmas episode is gonna come. It's gonna be a great special.
I'll try and decorate. That's not a promise, but I'll try.
Nah, we're gonna have it's gonna be fire.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fire.
But we're gonna keep evolving, changing the podcast, improving.
The one thing that is definite though, we will definitely be uploading between the time of season 1 and season 2 with a few, like you said, special podcasts along the way, just for a momentous occasion, like his birthday when he finally turns 18.
Yeah.
Now to answer the question, where do you necessarily see this podcast going? Because technically we started this just for fun.
Honestly, it sounds kind of corny, but I really smile when I think about that because I really don't know. But the fact that we started like this early on, like you're about to turn 19, I'm about to turn 18, going to college, I literally don't know. I don't know.
Honestly, I would say the same thing. I genuinely don't know. Like I honestly could say, and if I were to see this, I would see it as something that just, no matter what we're doing, would bring us back to home, like keep us grounded, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, like a escape almost.
Yeah, like an escape from just other things where we could feel comfortable to talk to not only y'all and learn different things, but talk to each other, get to know our town, see our families, all those different things. That's the thing I like about this podcast too, is the fact that we can pretty much talk about anything and learn, right? And just
we come with, like, we learn outside of here, then we just bring it here, and then hopefully I hope we're having like a positive impact on you, just like how the podcast is having a positive impact on us.
Exactly, causing us to be more open and a bit more confident, as we've talked about multiple times in this podcast, and just being able to formulate our words and conversation.
I will say one of the best ways to get better at public speaking: start a podcast.
Yeah,
start a podcast.
Legit, because when you're talking and you have the thing in the back of your mind of anyone that is on the internet could see this, possibly, it's kind of like scary in a sense, but at the same time it gives you the confidence to be able to just speak clearly, concise, with the right tone and everything.
But in general, I want to have this podcast just be more of what it is, just more following for us, for like more of a following, so we can influence more people and gain more support, and then just keep evolving and keep growing what we're doing right now.
So to answer it simply, we like the structure of our podcast. We just want it to be bigger, as in we want more people to be able to sit down and have the conversation. Like, we want to be able for them to listen to our podcast and be like, that's a good question, I never thought of it this way, and then bring it to their family, bring it to their friends, bring it to their cousins, aunts, uncles, workplace, jobs, whatever, and just have them have the conversation too, just like how we're having the conversation and learning with either our guests, with each other, and with y'all. So
quick side note, I said it before, but we're going to do a playlist, but we'll like
a musical playlist.
Yeah, but we'll put it in like one of our Instagram and like social media, everything like that.
And it's a playlist of songs that we would want to use as background music, and just songs that we like in general, if copyright did not exist. That's the main thing. So yeah. Now came the last and final segment of season 1 of the Campfire Podcast. We will ask each other one question that we have for the other person. I don't know if you have yours yet.
I don't. I'm gonna just say on the fly. You go.
I have yours. I have mine. Question for you.
All right, you go first then. I'll think about mine.
If you were to change and improve this podcast by one thing only, what would you change or add or improve?
I would change how we're recording, because the break. I like the break actually. At first, I didn't like it. So I was like, man, we gotta like break in between every 30 minutes. But after a while, I kind of like the vibe it gave off. Like we would talk about a segment, then do like a little record, like we go, and then just go right into another one. Then I started like actually like putting together episodes. And I'm going to there's a transitions option where like every 30 minutes you'll hear like a transition, like some random sound. I was like, I kind of like this, but ultimately it kind of like
disrupts the conversation.
Yeah, it holds us back, because it makes us cut off what we're saying. And I don't really like that, so I would change that.
I will say it did help us with making it more concise, because people's what is it,
brain attention span
is not that long, so an hour is perfect, right? And if you go a bit over, sometimes people can't make it to the full hour 30, 2 hour, whatever. But he is right in the sense of the breaks did hinder us from, like, the last podcast we were talking about flat earth. After the podcast was done, we still had a conversation for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, so look out for a blooper reel. I'm gonna edit that, and we're gonna have like a blooper reel of what you miss when the camera, well, not when the camera, what the audio people miss.
Yeah. When
the camera is turned on, because we turn it on. It's like a few minutes before we actually press record to start the podcast. So.
I have my question for you now. What's one standout moment of this season? From any episode, just one standout moment. Just like that moment where you're just like, dang, I'm having a lot of fun. Or you may have been like, oh, that was like lightning. It's like just kind of lit like a light bulb or like a fire in me, something like that.
You mean only one?
Just one.
There's so many that all of them just flooded. But the one that, like I said, I don't know why, but out of all of the guests, most of the time, we would propose the topic or propose the question. But when we had Jada on the podcast, she asked us that one question, and we were both there like...
It was, if you were a dad and someone came over, would you tell your daughter to cover up?
Yeah. Just listen to that episode, bro. Episode 11. Listen to that episode. Because I'm telling you, when I was like, I didn't expect it, and then it just stumped both of us. Like that moment of us being, honestly, we don't know, is what the whole podcast was about. And then honestly, like, it was such an encapsulating moment for both me and you, because we were both like, we don't know how to answer this. And it was honestly amazing. So yeah, I'd say that one is the one that came to like the biggest one in my mind.
Honestly, for me, the flat earth theory. Because like I was putting the music to the episode, I was listening back to it, I'm like, yo, this is fire.
It was funny though. It was funny. But there's so many moments, just like when our second guest, and they said their favorite artist was Youngboy.
Oh yeah.
And we were like, what? Or when we discovered what Blueface was doing.
How
on
could
Instagram.
I forget? Literally every single time we talked about One Piece.
Literally all exactly. The times. Fam, when we decided to do the tier list.
Oh yeah.
That's because we were tired. Like, we decided to be like, oh, no, it.
The more loosely outlined podcasts, like the more we're like when we retired, or we're just like no structure podcasts, those are pretty good too.
Yeah.
All the relationship ones.
Every single one of the relationship ones, marriage and all that.
The whole Would You Rather and Dual Blank the theme. That episode was fire.
That was funny. The one with Greg when we were talking about international relationships is another good one. Just a lot of
Mother's Day
where we talked about the difference between school then and now, and racism then and now. That was another fire one. Our anime podcast, and we just talked about anime. Our top 4 or top 5.
The music one
we talked about favorite. There's so many moments.
Can't forget the first one.
Of course, the very first one.
You know what you talked about, but it was...
No, we talked about Gen Z. We talked about COVID and what COVID did for us and all. I still remember the first episode. It's
not walking in the first time.
It's over now. It's not over.
Not for now.
But,
we're just going to transition into next phase.
Next phase. Different things.
Well, that's all we got here, folks.
I don't know what music you're gonna put behind this, but it best be inspirational.
Well, that was the final segment of the first season of the Campfire Podcast.
Yes, sir.
Season 1 is finished. Thank you
so much for listening.
Thank you.
If this is your first time, check out the other episodes. Please, you won't regret it.
We'll be back very, very soon.
Yes,
I don't know exactly when.
Well,
but
you'll see his face very soon because you moving out on Monday.
Yeah, plan to do a little vlog. Did you want to edit it? You're gonna edit it.
You gonna edit it. You gonna have to learn how to edit anyway.
Yeah, true. But yeah, you'll see us soon.
Yeah, honestly, we'll see y'all soon. So, goodbye.
Here to Campfire. Have a good day. Peace. Thank you.
And namaste.